Hi folks, and welcome to DevTrends. Today we're gonna talk about Nuxt.js version 1, the fact that Google now ranks pages based on their speed, and how DigitalOcean offers more Droplet capacity for the same price. So let's start with Nuxt.js. Nuxt.js is a Next.js-like framework for building universal web applications on Vue.js. Nuxt was created right after Next about a year and a half ago and recently hit version 1, which means it's production ready now. Nuxt.js is built with high modularity in mind, so you can fine-tune literally every aspect of it to match your needs. For example, Nuxt by default has server-rendered views, but if you want, you can switch to more classic single-page application and even generate and publish some pages with a single command. And if you already got your own server, you can also use Next programmatically as a middleware utilizing its API. So let's switch to code and see how it works now. So Nuxt.js has pretty great documentation with getting started tutorial, and it allows us to create a starter template from GitHub, but there is a newer method of creating or bootstrapping your Next.js application, and this method is called create Nuxt app. It's like create React app just for Nuxt. And in order to use it, we install create Nuxt app as a global npm module. Let's wait a bit. So it's installed now, and let's now create our new Nuxt.js application with create Nuxt app, and let's call it Nuxt demo. Here, create Nuxt app allows us to provide some parameters like project name, description. We can select a server framework from pretty common options. Let's just go Omicron. And we can also select a UI framework. Let's choose our new Tailwind. And you can either create universal web application with server rendered roads and views, or just simple single page application. Let's create universal one. We don't need actions model for this, and we use slint, and that's my name. So let's wait till it installs. So we installed this boilerplate now, and here is our folder, Nuxt demo, and let's switch to code and see our folder structure of Nuxt.js application. Let's select it, work, projects, demos, Nuxt.js demo. So here is it. So there are plenty of folders here. This is because Nuxt.js is, as I already said, is Next.js-like framework, and that means that it utilizes convention over configuration method. It means that you have some predefined folders with some default names, and each of these folders do its things. So let's go through these folders. So the base file of Nuxt.js application is actually Nuxt config.js. Here you can provide all the configuration related to Nuxt.js. You can provide different modules, you can provide plugins, CSS stuff, and other things. But we just for now skip it and switch to folder structure. So first folder is assets folder. This folder contains assets like styles and images, and by default it uses view, file, and URL webpack loaders, but these loaders can be changed in post CSS. sorry, not post CSS, but Nuxt config.js. So here we get build key, and here we got extend method in build key, and here you can just create custom config for your Webpack bundle. And if you can see, we installed this Nuxt.js application with slint support, so slint is automatically added like Webpack plugin here. So there is CSS folder as well, where our CSS assets exist, and here is the only file, Tailwind CSS, with our base Tailwind config. Let's switch to components. So the components folder is a base folder for Vue components. So you can see there is single component for now. It's called logo.vue, and here we got Vue component in single file. So here is template, our style, and without any script tag because it doesn't contain any logic. Next folder is the layouts. Well, it's also a simple Vue component, but it's just for layout purposes. So you can define different layouts here and then provide them in Nuxt config.js. So we can see there is root Nuxt model that mounts all our application here, and some base styles here as well, like HTML and other. Then comes the middleware folder. It is empty now, but here you can define your application middleware like you do in Express or Core server frameworks. Middlewares here are custom functions that get executed before page render. And here you can, for example, implement authentication logic, which will redirect an unauthorized user to sign-in page, for example. Node models is our bottomless pit. Page folders is a specific folder for our page of our website, of our web application. We'll move to them a bit later on. Plugins, here you can pass some different Vue plugins, like Vue notifications, for example. We will see later on how it works as well. It's empty now. And server folder is where our server config exists, like there is our config for micro framework, and you can see there is Nuxt.js required here, and Nuxt.js here does a job for server-side rendering and stuff. So there is also a static folder where you can put all your static assets that are pushed to the client as is, like favicon. And if you want, you can define a store here. It will be a Vue store, but in order to enable it, you should provide a config in Nuxt config.js. So that's basically all the structure. So let's just see how it works. Without modifications, we go to terminal and npm run dev. And in order to build your application, you just run npm run build, and Nuxt.js does all the things itself. So let's wait for the build and head over localhost 3000 here. And here is our Nuxt.js application. So you can see the logo component, the page component, and that's pretty it. Let's open DevTools. Let's now do some modifications. So, like the main folder of Nuxt.js application is page folder. Here you put your pages and name them after your routes. So, as you see, here we got index view file index view component, and you can see that this component is rendered like right here, right in the root of our application. So let's now create another page. Let's call it about view, and it will be our about page. Let's create some template. Let's put it hello world. We just save it, and it should be good now to go to this. Yeah, you can see there is hello world component and nothing else. So it automatically gets mapped to the road. Let's create some logic. Let's here get some data, title, about page. Title. Let's save and see. It works. By the way, you don't need to reload the page because Nuxt.js includes hot model replacement from the box. Just me. And we can add some styling here, I think. As we installed Tailwind CSS before, we can just use some basic styles, like, for example, I think I will need a reference. Like button, click me, class, let's add it. Background black, or yeah, background black, text white, border. Let it be just border. I think it will be. Let's refer to the documentation for a bit. Here's our borders. Okay, all and 2 pixels. Okay, let's be 2. Save and switch to Nuxt.js demo. And here's our not so beautiful button. Let's add some padding. I think it's 2. Yeah, like this, for example. And that's pretty it. Now what we can do, so there is a special component in Nuxt.js. It's called Nuxt link. Let's create it here, Nuxt link, and you can just add 2, and you provide a link to your road. There is some I think it's okay. Probably seems to be okay for me, but I don't think. There is some parse error. Let's check it. Let's head over to documentation. Our views. Without any dots, so like here. And let's see what we get here. So it's like wrapper for our links. Let's put here, go to about page, save, and we are done. and you can see there is automatic transition applied to the rows, so you can as well customize this transition, but now it's working as it should, as default transition. So there is how rows work in Vue, in Nuxt.js, I mean. So now let's create some plugins. We create a simple plugin called Vue Notifications JS, and here we just, first of all, we install this plugin. Let's install Vue Notifications, which will add notifications to our application. Here we import Vue from Vue, import Vue Notifications from Vue Notifications, and we use this plugin with the default Vue syntax, so it will be Vue use, Vue Notifications. And the other thing we need to do is to include this file to our Nuxt config.js, here to our plugins, Vue Notifications. Yeah, let's save. And now let's double check the syntax. Here's our plugins, and we include it like you should specify a folder apparently. So let it be like plugins, Vue Notifications. And now we go to our About Vue component, to our About page, and we here just can specify key called notifications. Let's head over the main site. Here is it. So we can use it like this. Let's just copy paste it for brevity. Let's put it here. And here in script we should also import Vue Notifications to define them because of this. And now we can just provide a click method, and here we just call this show success message. Let's save, reload, and hopefully it worked. It will work. We need to start again because we installed the model. Now it should build really fast, faster than the first time because of caching. Let's click. And here we got like console login here, and we see that it somehow works, but just doesn't show on our UI. But this is because the specific thing of this Vue Notifications plugin is you need to provide different UI libraries in order for it to work. There are some options you can see here in example how it works actually. Yeah. So this is like the very basic functionality of Nuxt.js. Of course, you can define dynamic roles here with underscore key you can define custom modules that will extend your Nuxt.js application in almost any way. And moreover, Nuxt.js has pretty comprehensive documentation and getting started tutorial, so you can see all the information in its website. And there is much more included in Nuxt.js, and you can find comprehensive and well-structured documentation, as I already said, on its website. Worth noting that version 1 release is just the beginning. Nuxt.js folks are pushing forward with even better docs, enhancing TypeScript support, performance and stuff, and we'll definitely follow them in their journey. So the next news is Google ranks pages based on speed. Those developers who wondering how to climb higher in search results may want to double-check their website's performance. As Google stated that starting from July 2018, page speed will be a ranking factor for mobile searches. And though it is said in the statement that it will affect only slowest sites and only to a small extent, some people related to Google responded in comments that currently website performance affects search results position as well, and not only on mobile. So it might be right signal to start optimizing your web assets, and there are some tools that can help you with it. And first one is Google's Lighthouse. It started as a browser extension and now is bundled into Chrome DevTools. You can find it in, let's see, in Audits tab. So here is our audits, and here you can perform an audit of any website on the web via the DevTools. So with Lighthouse you can perform a comprehensive test of your website in scope of performance, progressive web application readiness, accessibility, and whether it follows best development practices. And worth noting that more and more developers are betting on Lighthouse and optimizing their frameworks to have high scores at it. And the closest example is Preact CLI. Let's head over in a bit to Preact CLI GitHub repository, and you can see the first feature of Preact CLI is 100 Lighthouse score, which is pretty awesome. All greens here, all hundreds. And the second instrument, it helps you to create great offline experience for your users. It's called Workbox, and it's also from Google. Workbox is an evolution of tools like SV Precache, made to automate service worker generation and yet providing exceptional flexibility in terms of configuration. You can use Workbox as a Webpack or Gulp plugin. Here are the tutorials for this. Or you can use it directly with npm scripts, as do I. The configuration is pretty overwhelming, but it's totally worth it. With Workbox you can really handle every piece of service worker logic, choose from different strategies like cache first or network first, and you can even add whole pages to the cache based on your server-side template, so it's pretty awesome tool. And as I said, it's totally worth it. So go check it out. And next chunk of news is that DigitalOcean now offers twice as much capacity for their droplets for the same price. It was released as first step in DigitalOcean's 2018 roadmap, and all you need to do is to switch to newer plans in your DigitalOcean administration panel. But that is the important part. These plans were introduced as separate new ones, so in order to apply updated capacity, you have to either create new droplet or manually reset the existing one. And such update was made to pair the plans with other services. You can see there is a table with new plans. It's like twice as much capacity, RAM, SSD, and even CPU cores on some plans. And DigitalOcean is now equal in price to such cloud providers as Vultr and Linode. So here's Vultr plans. It's pretty the same, but Ultra has also this $2.50 plan, like the lowest one, and Linode one has the same pricing. And also DigitalOcean now offers additional plans like $15, one with 60 gigabytes of SSD space and flexible RAM and CPU cores config. You can see you can choose any of your needs. But if you still haven't decided what provider to choose, remember that DigitalOcean team writes ton of top-notch posts about almost every aspect on how to deploy, scale and manage your service. As for me, it is endless pool of usable info that saved me hours of digging into Linux manuals many times. So that's all for today, folks. All the links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching and stay trendy!